Joining me, former Senator Cory Bernardi in Adelaide, and via Skype, the Daily Telegraph's opinion editor and co-host of Sky News Outsiders, James Morrow. Gentlemen, I'm loving all of this, looking into people's libraries or their sitting rooms or their studies and seeing what's on their shelf. Watch out, James Morrow. My little eagle eye will have a look. I want to start, if I can, with the United States. James, give me a sense. Trump says this will all be over by Easter. We'll have good times and the churches will be full, he says. How true is that?
Well, I think that what he's trying to do is something that some people are talking about already, which is figuring out a way to pivot out of whatever recession or depression is going to wind up resulting from all of these economic shutdowns and getting Americans moving again. I mean, the other thing you've got to remember about America is that almost all of the infections are coming from a few places. I think about half of them are coming from New York City, a lot are coming from New Orleans, where they just had Mardi Gras. Much of the rest of the country is largely unaffected, and so it's a bit of a different sort of thing to Australia, where it's a smaller population. They've got large areas that are unaffected, and he doesn't want those areas to all wind up going out of work. Now, whether Easter is plausible, I think that's pretty pie in the sky, but he wants to get the country moving again, certainly by the election.
The harder thing too, I guess, well, it's a double-edged sword, Cory. We're about to go into winter, so we could have the double whammy of the usual flu season and obviously this pandemic. But in the United States, you know, warm weather like here tends to bring out people and gets them mixing on the beaches, as we saw there with uni students during spring break. So, you know, there's arguments for both sides of this. Where do you think it's headed? And you gave me some interesting information in relation to some Republicans who are wanting extraordinary amounts of money spent on various institutions that are, well, workers are losing their jobs, but these institutions shut down during the lockdown. He wants money to go to them.
Yeah. Peter, there's something in this for everyone, and quite frankly, I think Donald Trump is playing a masterclass in this. He characterised this as an enemy's virus, and it was a China virus because that's where it came from. The lefties don't like that, of course, but that's framed a debate for Trump. And now it's about getting America going in their resilience. He won't be too fussed about what's happening in New York or in California, I suspect, because they're Democrat strongholds, and you can blame the lack of preparation from the Democratic governors there, if that's what you want to do from a political purpose. And as you say, there's $2 trillion going into the economy, and it just proves that a crisis should never be wasted by a politician, because I think it's Ralph Nader, who of course has quite a history, was very proud of tweeting that he got $4 billion in coronavirus compensation for New York museums. I mean, imagine the horror. They might be shut down for 3 months, but there's $4 billion of taxpayers' money that's flown their way. And multiply that by every congressman, by every senator. Have a look what's happening in Australia, around the world. Politicians are using this crisis for their own ends, to double welfare, to build big businesses, to strengthen their authority, to shut down beaches, whatever you like. There's something in it for everyone, and the only loser is the population.
Well, and it's the ordinary worker too, James. This is my main argument. I think the ordinary worker is the one that's going to be hit hardest by all of this, the person that's taken a punt, mortgaged their home, got a small business. As Cory's right, you know, $2 trillion in the US stimulus, US money I might add, $4 billion US for museums and things like that. I mean, it's interesting, you look at Spain and Italy, you can see how much, in the case of Italy, a different government every single year for the past 47 years, literally a different government, has meant that a lot of that groundwork that governments should be doing to repair the network of hospitals and other systems, it just doesn't get done. And when the system's under pressure like this, it breaks.
Well, that's right. I mean, there's so much to say about how, you know, bad governance, but also bad politics can lead you open to so many disasters here. I mean, you know, let's go back to America for a moment. Bill de Blasio, the Democrat, basically socialist mayor of New York, utterly feckless and incompetent leader of the city. Just a few weeks ago, he was saying, everybody get out, go to your favorite bars, don't worry about this, it'll be fine, keep spending money. And he was going to the gym, and all these experts were saying, no, you're being crazy, stop it, people are going to get killed. And now, of course, people are dying outside the hospitals in New York City as a result of this terrible sort of carelessness. You go to Italy and Spain, countries where they have these moribund socialist healthcare systems. Again, They are not agile enough. They're not flexible enough to deal with this sort of onslaught. And, you look at this sort of wokeness of all these local leaders. The mayor of Florence a couple of months ago when the virus was just coming out, he had an event which he promoted on Twitter telling people, go up and hug people of Asian appearance to show that there's no stigma around the coronavirus. Now, of course, Tuscany and Florence became a huge hotspot of this disease.
I'm sorry, gentlemen, I have to leave it there.